Good afternoon, travelers. This is going to be your Valentine's Day reading for February 14th, 2023. Those of you who've been with me for a while know that I don't specialize in doing love readings. There are lots of tarot readers out there that do. However, I find that relationship issues stem from something deeper. And so I believe in counseling the whole person and not just about your love life. Why are you looking at your love life to the exclusion of everything else? And if, you book a reading with me and it's about romance, we can do it that way. But I just don't sit down and do straight love readings, okay? So with that being said, if you're interested in getting a reading from me, no matter what the subject matter, you can go to the About Box section of my channel. There I have listed the reading packages, which tell you the length of time, the number of questions, and the price. You can email me there at hiddenlotustarot@gmail.com. Say, hey, Tara, I want a 1-hour reading, and then we will go from there, and I will email you and explain the process to you, okay? Please don't email me your story. I don't need to know your story. I just need the questions, but that comes after we've done the payment and I've explained to you the way that it's done. Okay, I had somebody email me this book last night. And by the way, if you are watching John C., please check your spam folder because I did respond to you. Yahoo and Hotmail do not respond well. They don't play well with Gmail. So it may have sent my email to your spam folder. So please check your spam folder, okay? I'm going to be using the Muja Tarot. I haven't used those in a long time. I kind of don't really like the cards, but kind of do. I think they have great messages to give and they tell great stories, but they don't have a lot of staying power. So usually after about 2 or 3 readings with them, they just kind of peter out and there's no more energy left in them. So that's one of the reasons I don't use them a lot. Anyway, this is what they look like. So I have the Muja Tarot. I have the Levita Sibilas. I also have the Heart Oracle Tarot and the Angel Answer cards, okay? I've already done some meditation and shuffling on February 14th. This is a general reading, and therefore the message may not resonate with you. It's just general. In order to gain any insight into your own situation, your personal situation does require personal reading. So I'm not even going to shuffle these cards. I've already done a whole bunch of shuffling and meditation over them. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and lay the cards. So let me see if I can do it without the camera going crazy, okay? I'm just being vexed by the camera. Okay. And I might have to, because they're so lightly colored, I might have to, close the blinds. Let me light the candle here. We invite the light in. We add light to the atmosphere to help bring in the spirit guides. We also have our water and our earth. In any quote-unquote magical or divination process, these are things you want to have. And then we have the air element, which is our incense. Okay, so let me go ahead and lay the cards. I'm not even going to cut them. We're just going to lay them. The Queen of Swords, the Devil, the Emperor. Wow, that's some kind of connection. Next row, the Five of Swords, the Tower card, the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know if you can see her very well. I said these cards are so lightly colored. Very pastel. The Nine of Swords. The Two of Cups. Wow. And the Sun. And I think when I showed you the cards, we saw the overall energy underneath. Yes, it was the 8 of Wands. Okay. So, in the spread, I have 1, 2, 3 major arcanas. I'm sorry, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Devil, the Emperor, the Tower, and the Sun. I have 2 Queens. I have 1, 2, 3 Swords. A Cup and a Pentacle. All right. And right in the center, let me see, do I have any repeater numbers? Because it's always important to have repeater numbers. I do not have any repeater numbers, but I do have the 2 Queens. Traditionally, the 2 Queens indicate gossip is mean. And in this instance, I do feel as though there have been some words. These are 2 separate females, is what I'm picking up. And I do feel that there have been some words between these 2. What we have here is this Emperor and past, present, future, past, present, future. But it's odd because the energy feels as though it's reading this way. So in which case, which is different from the directionality of the wands flying by. And so what this indicates to me is that this is something in the future that is affecting the past. Okay. But even still, the past affecting the future. And so to me, this Emperor does represent the male in this particular situation. Perhaps an Aries male. If not an Aries, that's because that's the sign that it represents. But could be, let's just say, a fire sign male, or someone who would be considered like a leader, or I don't know, philanthropist, or some kind of coach, a father figure type of person that people go to for, what do you call it, for advice, for assistance, for help. But also he would have some kind of perhaps military background or law enforcement background. And I think what stands out to me the most is this top row. So if I'm going to have to read it this way, because that's really the way the cards are presenting themselves to me. So this particular male, I think, is involved with 2 females. Okay. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this is someone from his past. Okay. As I say, and this one is someone from his past. Okay. Either way, he knows both of these females. Here with the Devil, between these 2 figures, this tells me in a sense that this particular Queen of Swords, so an air sign female, has in a sense been trying to, I don't know, either cool down the emotions or cool down the relationship or cool down the contact. But there is definitely some type of, if not just straight sexual energy between them, there's some kind of power and control issue between the 2 of them. So this could even be like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife. Okay. Again, I'm going to have to read the whole thing this way because this is how it's presenting itself. Currently, he is perhaps associated with this or involved with this Queen of Pentacles, Earth sign. So Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. If not those things, then she works perhaps in retail, or she's a banker, or she's an accountant, or a financial advisor, or she works for an NGO, something of that nature. Here with this particular queen, her professions are going to be law enforcement, soldier, chef, writer, surgeon, researcher, or scientist. Okay. And it seems to me that what this row is saying is, and even if the cards were this way and I was reading this way, this row still says the same, which is that this relationship that he has here with this Queen of Pentacles is the one that trumps the other relationship. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because the sun has come out, and the sun speaks to growth, abundance, even fertility, in the sense that the sun helps things to grow. It also is this idea that there is some illumination on this. There's some clarity here in this row. I also feel that there has been some kind of emotional outburst or upset, but also a recognition and a realization. Something that, I don't know, the three of these two people constructed together, or the construct in which they find themselves is something that they have created, but it will come crashing down. Okay, and there's no two ways about it. So this is some kind of revelation, some kind of emotional outburst. I've sometimes seen these two cards together when it talks about really great sex between people. That's, you know, a given kind of a thing, but there's also this element of temptation and danger involved in this situation, and something occurs where the construct collapses and it can't be avoided, and then what we see is an argument here. Okay, a Five of Swords speaks about separations, divorces. If you don't know why you've separated from a person or you've had an argument with the person, you're going to find out soon enough. It can sometimes be an indication of someone being the victor over another one, but it also warns not to fight so much, because two people, particularly with these two energies, will stoop to any level in order to win. And I think, or what I feel here, we see this row is all swords, and it ends with the Nine of Swords. So from the 5 to the 9 leaves me 4 swords. So there tells me, as I was saying earlier, that there's been some kind of cooling off period or disconnect or pushing away of. See how she's holding her sword here. And someone is thinking back on, I think, what has come before. So this could be the idea of you can't stop thinking about the person and or the situation. Maybe you can't stop thinking about the sex or the connection. And it speaks of nightmares, your conscience being bothered. Sometimes it could be about guilt, how you have said something or communicated, because these are swords, with someone. Sometimes there's a sense perhaps of betrayal, but what it indicates is a fear to me. A mental fear, a mental energy of fear and discord. And then right in the center we have this Two of Cups. The Two of Cups speaks about an affinity, two people who are in a sense of the same mind. We see the caduceus of Mercury, so this is the communication of ideas and feelings and things. Sometimes when I see this, particularly with the lion there, it talks to me about a relationship in which even your health it improves because of the relationship that you have with this person. But over the entire reading is this Eight of Wands, and if we look at her face, she's quite startled. Okay, she's surprised. So what this tells me is there's going to be either some kind of movement surrounding the situation, or there's going to be some kind of news that comes in. But the news, I don't think, will be good news. Okay? And so I'm going to pull cards. And I think the first thing that I want to look at, and I'll be using the Sibilas, is this Emperor here. Because even here, we can see that, and this to me implies that this particular queen receives some kind of clarity. Once the dust clears, after the tower crumbles, there's clarity here. Okay? Here, we're going to see this particular Emperor, the construct falls for him as well. However, I don't think he's going to let it go too easily. This is something he's going to be turning over and over in his mind. Here we have the Devil between these two people. Okay, So the devil can be someone trying to use their position in a negative way to gain power over you. It talks about the idea of temptation, not being able to quote unquote resist. It talks about the darker side of ourselves. Sometimes a card can also be an indication of something looming large. Okay, and we know it's coming. We just don't quite know what it is or how it's going to play out. So I think the first card that I'm going to look at would be this Emperor card, to see if I can gain some information. I do feel that if there's been disputes with this particular queen, between the Queen of Pentacles and the, what do you call it? The Emperor here, that they work that out. That's why the Sun is showing up on this side. And then these two are at odds with each other, and they are worried about each other. Okay? That's how that reads to me. So it looks like a third-party situation. Even though I only have 2 actual court cards in the spread itself. And the fact that this male and female are falling out of the Tower lets me know that for someone, one of these particular queens, and I would think it's going to be this queen and not this queen. The desperate jealousy. The Limoneo. And the Morte. Right off the bat, it talks about, yes, it can be jealousy between people, but it also talks about the idea of someone who doesn't necessarily have the resources in order to cope or deal with whatever the situation is. It also can be an indication of someone who's just kind of lost their mind. Let me get over here to the, I think it's the 8. It is, to give you an indication of what we're looking at. It is not the Tower card, the tragedy card that has come out, but it is this consumed with jealousy. Sometimes it can indicate an advanced stage. It warns of a toxic environment with toxic people around you. The card indicates treachery, slander, gossip, and envy. It warns that there's a danger coming from your circle of acquaintances or friends. In love, it indicates extreme jealousy, envy, possessiveness, and the selfish love centered around self-gratification and or social climbing. Love, if it can still be called that, comes with a heavy price to pay. And in any kind of relationship, it indicates a lack of trust and a loss of self-respect. Okay? It indicates not being able to see past the present moment. Okay? It also indicates all forms of self-harm, feelings of guilt, shame, and deep regret. It is a card of tears and deep worry. It can also point to substance abuse. There we have that devil card here. And sometimes sex can be like a drug for some people. With the Limoneo, what we're discussing is, yes, indeed, there is a marriage or at least a very deeply committed relationship here, and something coming to an end because someone has said something or done something that can never be taken back. Therefore, they've crossed a Rubicon and the situation will never return to the way that it was before. There can sometimes be even an indication of violence here with that particular card. Violent feelings, violent words, maybe even physical violence has come out. So let me take a look at this, or at least the person has the tendency for that, okay? But it is definitely the cutting of a situation. In which case, if this has been a toxic, really ugly relationship, then sometimes this card can come out to say that that's a good thing, right? Because now it's going to free you, just like when the Tower falls down. That construct, you're no longer imprisoned in something that you put yourself in, and it frees you up, okay? I want to look at this 5 of Swords. The Consolante Sorpresa. a surprise. This is kind of a lucky card in the sense that maybe you went looking for something else, but you found, you know, you didn't get what you wanted, but you did find something of quote unquote value. This could be discussions, but it could be like arguments and disagreements, you know, discussions that reached a fever pitch, as so to speak. The Donna Maritata, she presents herself again, the Queen of Coins. And the Mercante, the King of Coins. So this kind of says to me that two things, the fight and the argument. And as you can see, there's one individual and two others walking away. So this definitely tells me the idea that there was some kind of maybe light discovery that came about. These are swords, thoughts, belief, perceptions, ideas, communications, particularly here with the Tower card. But that these two have an affinity with each other. Okay? And this guy is a difficult character to deal with. All right? I'm going to pull cards finally on, I want to see what the Sun has to say in this instance. And that's what the argument is about. The argument is about this Queen. I want to see what the Sun has to say. What will be illuminated, or what Speranza, hope. Amalato, but the hopes are dashed. And I don't think necessarily that the hopes are dashed now. What we're hoping for is news that is going to bring us out of this state of illness. That's a Four of Swords. Remember I said from the 5 to the 9 gives me the 4. So this card has to do with, yes, health, physical health, but also your mental and emotional and spiritual health. And again, it indicates situations which are toxic to you. So this can be relationships, jobs, family members, friends, things of that nature. And it implies that time needs to be taken out in order to regain your balance. It also indicates being in or going to places in which we would rather not be or visit. So hospitals, prisons, asylums, things like that. But it can also be a construct of the mind. So there is the letter. Now, this letter doesn't tell me what the information is about contained in it, but what it represents is the idea of news, some kind of information or news, whether it's a letter, whether it's a package, whether it's you hear it on the radio, somebody tells it to you. So it's only an indication of news coming and the arrival of it quite soon. That's backed up by this. So that is what the readings say. I don't know what the cards say. I don't know necessarily what news you are waiting on or who's waiting on the news. And again, what the news is going to contain. Oh, well, the 7 of Pentacles awaiting the results. That's interesting. That just kind of flew out. And formulate your question for the angel answers. Wow, that was interesting. It really was. It was interesting that it just flew out like that. All right, and here is your angel answer card. So something is definitely coming to an end, and the card says abundance, which is one of the key words for this card. Okay, and it may not make any sense in the context of what we're reading about, so I'm going to start with that one. Abundance. Great abundance will find its way into your life. Your plans will yield prosperity, providing a sense of security about the future. And your angels will be with you as you take the necessary actions to manifest your dreams. However, abundance is not always financial in nature. You may be seeking to manifest new ideas, a large circle of friends, vibrant health, or romantic love. This card can also reflect an inflow of any of these types of treasures into your life. So open your arms to heaven to receive with gratitude that which you desire. Somebody's not going to get what they desire. But again, it frees you up to get that. Awaiting results. Where's my card? My book. That is part of the Pentacles suit, the physical suit. It is a 7. It says patience, assessment, outcome, and alternatives. You have been putting much energy into creating and attracting the relationships you desire and are eager to see positive results. Patience is needed, however. Reshaping attitudes and beliefs take time. Refining yourself so that you will attract just the right person is a process. If you find yourself becoming frustrated at the apparent lack of visible change, step back and focus on something other than your relationships for a while. When you are feeling more detached, you will be in a better position to notice any improvements, if any. If you've invested enough time, then take a moment to evaluate your progress. Are your efforts bearing fruit? Are you seeing the desired changes in your interactions with others? If yes, excellent, carry on. If not, then it may be time to shift your approach. Look for alternative strategies to affect the change you desire. What works with one person may not work with another. And when working on yourself, be sure that you are being true to who you are and not simply following society's formula for relationships. And I think that's a great card. And it also kind of demonstrates or explains what I was saying to you about focusing strictly on romantic readings. You know, it's the card, that line where it talks about, hold on one second, where it says, refining is a process. Refining yourself so that you will attract just the right person is a process. And so that's why I say that I don't deal strictly in romance readings, because that is to the exclusion of everything else in your life. And again, love, typically trouble in romantic relationships, stems from something else that's not in that area of your life. So it could be whether or not you're being valued, or whether or not you're dealing with childhood issues, you're repeating old patterns, you're going after the same people in the same way, in the same manner, without giving a close look at yourself. And so that is what I have for you for Valentine's Day. Again, if you'd like to get a reading, you can simply email me there and go over to the About Box section of my channel to see the packages. I don't sugarcoat. My turnaround time is between 48 to 72 hours. I don't like for people to wait. I see some people, they're like, oh, I've been waiting 3 months on a reading with somebody. Well, why? You know what I mean? Why? Because by the time you get it, the situation may have passed. And so I don't like for people to wait. And I try to get the reading back to you as soon as I can. And so, like I said, 72 hours is usually my time frame, my longest wait, 3 days. And so that is what I have for you. Until next time, be well, stay safe, and namaste. Bye.